Now, I see that Governor Cox and Abby left. There was a time when they would stay until I was done talking. You know, times have kind of changed. And if they were here, I'd tell them, just remember, fame is fleeting. Fame is fleeting. I've told this before, and if you've heard it before, still laugh again. But it was always interesting because Jeanette would send me out to do grocery shopping on Saturday. And it's, I guess, unusual, I don't know, to see a governor actually doing grocery shopping at Smith's Food King above the mansion where I went, or down here in Orem. And the most common thing when I first was put in as governor in 2009 was, "You look familiar. And where have I know you from?" And people, they couldn't place me. I had one lady that I was in the produce department at Smith's, and I was talking to a fellow, and the guy happened to be a TV anchor on one of the news, and this lady was pushing her cart by kind of slowly and looking at me and looking at him, and I thought, well, she recognizes this TV personality. And she came by, and then she stopped in front of me and said, "I know you." I thought, well, hey, somebody really recognized me, new governor. "You're one of the brethren." I said, "No, I'm not one of the brethren." And so pretty soon people will start to recognize me. Now I've noticed the other way. I'm going to Smith's here just a couple of weeks ago, and somebody says, "You look familiar." And the worst thing was 2 weeks ago, this is really a true story, was a fellow, I was standing in line to get some prescriptions at the Smith's drug counter for Jeanette, and the guy says, "You look familiar." And I said, "I get that all the time." And he says, "No, you are somebody, aren't you?" And I said, "Well, I think I'm somebody." He says, "I know. You used to work for Spencer Cox." Fame is fleeting. Spencer felt like he was obligated to say some nice things about me, but he's left, so I don't have to say any nice things about him. But I will tell you that what you see with Spencer and Abby is what you get. They are genuine, real people. And I knew his dad, Eddie Cox, who was a county commissioner at the same time I was a county commissioner in Utah County. And so I kind of knew of Spencer, but he's a fellow who is kind of, they talk about hard work, being on the farm. Spencer's been in the local government as a mayor, a city councilman, county commissioner. Then he served in the legislature. Somehow he got to be lieutenant governor. I don't know how that happened, and now governor. I mean, he's really has worked his way up, so he has a great background of how the governmental system works. And I think he's going to do a great job. You already see he's got a big heart and a smart guy, and Abby's every bit his equal. I did appreciate the fact that he said he's using some farm language. I thought that was political language, And I do know, at least in one instance, it's religious language. I was at a fireside one time, and we had one of the brethren was speaking, and he had a book. And I happen to know and have a great admiration for Brother Cleon Skousen. And he happened to have one of his books there that he was talking about. Somebody brought it, and he says, "Well, I've got his book here, and I've been reading chapter 1, and I came across something." If you know Brother Skousen, he was pretty opinionated, pretty strong opinions and points of view. And so this fellow said, "I come across something, I had a question, and I write in the margins, BS. And I come to another chapter, and I see something I didn't quite agree with, I write BS. Another one, BS. And people were all wondering, what is he? And he says, of course, that stands for Brother Skousen." So it can be used in a religious context too, evidently. Let me just be brief. I know this is supposed to be rapid fire, which means that I have a limited period of time to speak. But I'll just title my remarks here quickly, "The Power of Participation." Again, it goes without saying that if we can come together and unite our voices, we can have stronger results. When I came into office, it was the depths of the Great Recession. And we had a real challenge. We had to analyze why we were where we're at, what we need to do to get out of the recession. We set goals and made a plan to become the best performing economy in America and a premier international business destination. All those things happened, but they wouldn't have happened if we couldn't have gotten everybody on board on the same page saying, let's pull together. The power of participation. And I can tell you it was not easy. We had people, when I announced the goals to our senior staff, that we had people kind of, are you serious? Things are tough, the worst economic time since the Great Depression in Utah, and you're going to make us the #1 best performing economy in America? That seems to be a little bit of an overreach. So getting people to participate is not necessarily easy. And that means the executive branch, working with the legislative branch, local governments, the private sector, nonprofits, our faith-based organizations, all coming together and saying, can we unite in our efforts to achieve certain outcomes and goals? In this case, it was about the economy and making sure that we have great opportunities for our people to thrive as opposed to just survive. And obviously we were able to accomplish that. But I was thinking, when I put these thoughts together, I was thinking about the story I'd heard about the chicken and the pig. And they were walking in town, and there was a sign on one of the local cafes that said, ham and eggs, $4.99. And the chicken looks over at his friend, the pig, and says, wow, doesn't that just make your chest swell with pride? Ham and eggs, $4.99. They're talking about us. And the pig looked at the chicken and said, well, for you, that's just a little pressure, a little discomfort. But for me, it's total commitment. So sometimes, are we totally committed? I know sometimes it's hard to get on board and do things that maybe take us out of our comfort zone. My first inaugural address, I talked about the concept, if we had unprecedented partnerships of working together, the promise was we can accomplish probably things beyond our imagination. We had unlimited possibilities of what we could do. And I still believe it today. If we can, in fact, partner and come together, which sometimes requires some kind of compromise politically, we can accomplish some great things. And the team concept, now we're going to hear from Mark Madsen here in a bit. He's going to tell us about the upcoming Wolverine basketball team and what he's going to do. But Mark would tell us as a coach that if we can get everybody to play together with the same ideas, plans, efforts, etc., and complement our skill sets together, we'll have a much better team. And we see Zach Wilson, we all know he's got a great arm, he's got a great talent. But unless he's got a line that can give him some time, unless he's got some receivers that actually can catch a ball, unless he's got a defense that can actually keep the other team off the field, and coaches know how to develop a scheme, he's not going to be as successful no matter how much talent he's got as an individual. So the team concept, again, the power of participation of all us working together is a real one. And you see it in every walk of life. I've taken the word team, and it's not original with me, but I've used it as an acronym. Team, T-E-A-M, together everyone achieves more. Together everyone achieves more. And I believe that, and I think that part of the secrets of our success, in fact, Bloomberg News talked about the homogeneity of Utah, where we are very common in our culture and our values and our goals and aspirations in life. Very traditional, conservative, family-oriented, all those things that we know and love about Utah. Bloomberg News, when they talked about why is Utah doing so well, and they mentioned that's one of the things, that we are, in fact, very similar and on board and kind of have common goals. So, again, it's not only just a theme and a slogan, but it actually works. And when you look at Utah and Utah Valley, Utah has had some tremendous statistics. And again, you heard Governor Cox talk about how successful we have been. But when you think about things that you would like to see in your community, where you have a large middle class. We have the largest middle class in Utah of any state in America. It means the gap between the poor and the rich is not big. Certainly there are extremes at both ends, but the largest middle class. And we actually have, middle class people living next to rich people, living next to poorer people. That's kind of unique in our society here in the state of Utah. We have what we call upward mobility, and which is really the American dream, where people can start with nothing and actually achieve tremendous results if you measure it, again, economically, which is not the only way to measure success, by the way, but we find that this ability to move up the ladder. Bloomberg News, again, did a math problem out of it and said that the chances of you being on the lowest rung of the ladder in Utah and reaching the highest rung of the ladder economically is 1 in 10. That's a pretty good odds to go from bottom to top. People feel like there is opportunity here, and again, that's something that we've had some great success. Well, it's not just happened by chance. It's happened by plan. It's happened by putting together good policies. Legislature making sure that we have realistic tax obligations. I don't know if you know it or not, we have the lowest tax obligation now as people of Utah that we've had in the last 27 years. So again, more of our money that we earn, we can keep and spend, reinvest in our companies, as opposed to keep government going. Government, by the way, is very efficient in Utah. Again, credit to legislature, local governments, people involved in helping policy. And we find that right now we have fewer state employees in Utah we had back in 2002, in spite of the fact we have 900,000 more people that call Utah home. So fewer people providing service for many people and doing it more effectively and efficiently. That's saving the taxpayers now on an annual basis. We're saving now between $400 and $500 million a year. Otherwise, if you just stayed current with inflation and with the growth, that's how much more we'd be spending, except for the fact that we've made government more efficient in the state of Utah. Well, I think you all know that, and certainly the heart and soul right now of Utah's growth and expansion economically is coming out of Utah Valley. And so I think it's incumbent upon all of us to understand, one, this is the fastest growing part of the fastest growing state in America is right here. You look at some of our cities and the growth that's taking place there and the challenges that presents. I think growth really is our number one challenge going forward. But we can't rest on our laurels and think that it'll just continue to be thus and so. We have to be involved and united. So again, the power of participation. And I'd just like to put in a plug for the Utah Valley Chamber of Commerce. I know you're all here. You are, in fact, applying yourselves. You're participating. You're doing your job. But I know Curtis has told me that we've got the Chamber Drive coming up starting in October, November, and December. It's this last quarter of the year. So my challenge to all of us is to see if you can't find another company outside of your own. You should be a member. Find another company outside of your own and see if we can't get them to join the chamber. We have room and we have need. And I think there's a benefit that comes with belonging to the chamber as far as in your own business, improving your own bottom line, your market share, being able to survive the ups and downs, helping unite our voices for business. The chamber is the voice for business. And as we meet with the legislature, whether it's here in the state, local city councils and mayors, county commissions, federal legislation, having that united voice of business is significantly important to get the right outcomes, to make sure we continue to have this environment that's conducive to the entrepreneur that takes the risk, and appreciation for those who are willing to step out there and invest their time and talent on the off chance that they'll make a profit. I hope you realize that that is not the way it is across every part of the country anymore. I know I was in Iowa not too long ago. 30% of the people there self-identified in Iowa, the heartland of America, the first place people go to run for president, 30% self-identify as socialists. In Oklahoma here 2 years ago, Mary Fallon, a good friend of mine who was the governor then at the time, was having a problem because they had people protesting the chambers of commerce and the business community because they were making too much money. Again, it's not the same everywhere. We need to make sure we understand and protect the idea of free markets. free market capitalism and the benefit that we have, and giving those people that have willing to take a risk, work in their garages, their basements. And we see it happen here in Silicon Valley, how these businesses started. And by the way, you can't be a large business if you're not first a small business. And so we need to make sure that we have this environment where small businesses, entrepreneurs have an opportunity to take the risk, to create the wealth that creates the jobs. So with that, let me just say thank you very much. It's great to be with you all here for my 25th year, whatever it is that I've been here. It's a great place. It's a great nucleus. But we can do more, and we need to do more. We need to do better. So again, the challenge for all of us is bring one more business in before the end of the year to join the chamber. Put a smile on Curtis's and Janae's face by bringing somebody to join the Chamber of Commerce, and the future is very bright for all of us. Thank you very much.